How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a mid-six-figure full-time Amazon seller, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through A to Z as simply as I possibly can, the full process of how you can be able to make money selling on Amazon, doing online arbitrage. If you're brand new to Amazon and don't know what online arbitrage actually is, we're going to be looking for websites like Walmart, Target, Walgreens, and we're going to be trying to find profitable items that we can buy from websites like that in order to flip on Amazon. If you're brand new to the channel, let me go ahead and briefly tell you my story. With online arbitrage, I was able to make a little over $100,000 in profit during my senior year of college in 2021. Recently graduated, excited to do this full time. I now have a team of virtual assistants who do a ton of this work for me. So it's been a very nice business model that I've been able to outsource and grow into something really awesome. Hoping to do about $1.5 million in sales this year. But in this video, I'm going to go ahead and walk through the steps involved in doing online arbitrage. So the first step involved in the process is we're going to have to find a product to sell, right? We call this sourcing. This is where you're going to be looking through various methods. I'll show off a couple of the methods that I like. I'll really dive into some of the cheaper methods since I figure you guys don't want to dive in with a ton of expensive tools if you're just a beginner right now. So we're going to be trying to find a couple items that are profitable. After that, we're going to have to receive those items. Typically, you're going to want to ship those to your house when you first start, and then you're going to prep those products. I'll walk you through that process, but specifically, all you have to do is receive those products. You're going to make a shipment through Amazon Seller Central. We'll dive into all of this. You're going to ship it into Amazon for about 30 cents a pound. And then once it gets to Amazon, the work is going to be much less off of your hands. That's why we leverage Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA essentially allows you to ship your items into Amazon's fulfillment centers. And then when the item sells, the customer will be able to receive it within 2 days. And then Amazon's going to handle the customer service, any returns, all that kind of stuff is on Amazon. So let's go ahead and dive into the computer over here and start with step one. And let's see some various methods for trying to actually find products that we can sell. So before we dive into those specific sourcing methods, I just wanted to mention real quick that if you do not have an Amazon seller account, it is different from an Amazon buyer's account when you probably have to buy your everyday essentials. You will need to make an account with Amazon Seller Central. Just type in this URL up here. I would recommend to start with the paid plan if you can afford it. It's $40 a month. But if you're really trying to bootstrap, you can start with the free plan, but do not forget to upgrade once you start selling 40 units per month, because the free plan will have an extra $1 per unit fee that the paid plan does not have. The paid plan also allows you to integrate some software into your Seller Central account, which helps you make some things a little faster. But if you are on a super tight budget, definitely start with the individual plan. If you can, do the business account. But now that we've got an account set up, we're going to go ahead and dive into, actually, we're going to look at Amazon to find a very specific product that we can actually sell. So we've got Amazon pulled up over here. You're probably wondering why I'm going to Amazon. This is because we're going to actually do what's called reverse sourcing. In my opinion, this is the easiest way to find products with the fewest amount of softwares. So we're going to go ahead and start by finding a product that is sold by sellers who are buying from retail stores. So what that means is I'm going to look for a brand like Great Value, because the sellers who are on this listing are probably buying all of their stuff from Walmart, Target, websites like that. And so we're going to be able to actually pull up these listings, and we're going to go down here on the sidebar where it says there's other sellers. We're going to click here, and then we're going to go ahead and use these sellers as a bit of a starting point for us to actually go ahead and find some items. So when I do this, I'm going to be looking for sellers who don't have a ton of feedback. If you're just starting, think maybe less than 100 ratings, and they're also Amazon FBA fulfilled. So you can see ships from Amazon. That means that they are an FBA seller. But if it says ships from this Amazon choice or whatever, this means that they're shipping it out of their house, their warehouse, garage, whatever. But that's kind of a different business model. I prefer to stock. That's what we're doing. We're doing storefront stocking. So I prefer to stock the sellers who are doing the same exact business model as me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy here. And now we're actually going to be able to pull up everything that he's selling. So we'll go ahead and click through to a storefront. And now we have access to all of his products. And this essentially acts as a list of products that's so much more narrowed down. The reason that I prefer to do this is because if you are just going to a website like Walmart, you're going to be completely overwhelmed. There's way too many options. But if we actually pull up this list here, it's essentially just a list of, it's a leads list almost of products that other people are selling. They wouldn't be selling them if they didn't at least at some point make money off of it. All of these products are not going to be great products, but it is just a lot more narrowed down. So we can just go ahead and start clicking through some of these products that seem a little bit overpriced. Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt the video. I'll get right back to the action. I did want to mention just briefly, we do have a free Amazon seller Discord server that's going to be linked down below. There's right around 15,000 people in there sharing way too much free information. Probably should be charging for it. Most people would try to charge you for it. So I would encourage you to go ahead and plug into that community if you want to go ahead and get some more information, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm looking at this and I see that they're charging about $15 total because it's $5 shipping plus 11, so $16 total. And that tells me that this product is probably a little bit overpriced, but if I'm looking at this, the fees are probably going to be a little high. So if you're trying to say super lean right at the beginning, this right here is the only paid tool you will need. I would highly recommend you get SellerAmp, this tool right here, because it does have some other features that I will show you. I'll kind of compare sourcing with and without it. So we'll start by sourcing without it. But this tool down here is called Keepa, and it's $20 a month. It's like 19 euros, so the price will fluctuate a little bit. But this is going to protect us from making so many bad decisions because we're able to look at this chart. Let me go ahead and simplify it a little bit for you guys. We're able to look at this chart and we're able to see the green sales rank. So this is every time the product sells, this green sales rank chart, it'll drop. In this case, it's selling very fast. Right now, it has a sales rank in the hundreds, which means it's one of the top 1,000 best-selling products in this category, which means it sells a ton of units. So from here, we're going to be looking at this graph down here to figure out what price this item typically sells for. And we're going to kind of eyeball it. That's the best way I know how to do it with this, is we're just going to be eyeballing these items to see if there's some potential profit that we could squeeze out here. In this case, I'm looking at this, and this is telling me that this item typically is selling for about $10 to $11. So there's probably not any room to make money here. I'm going to check that with this free Chrome extension up here. This is just called Amazon FBA calculator. You can get it from the Chrome store for free. So we can go ahead and plug in that $11 price point that it's currently selling for, like $11.50. So if we can find these items, we'd have to find these items for like $1 a piece for this to be worth our time. Just for us to make, even then you make less than $3 on every sale, which isn't ideal. So in this case, this is going to be an item that I want to pass on. But this method, we're just going to be able to continue to scroll down this list, and eventually you will find something. And if you don't find something after the first 5 to 10 products, I would probably lean towards 10 products. If you're not finding anything, they're probably not making that much money themselves, and it's probably worth going ahead and checking out a different seller. So we can go ahead and poke through on a couple more of these listings here. Looks like this product is for sale for about 16 bucks. So here's where I would be interested in just at least Googling this product. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this over here. We're going to see if we can find it anywhere, honestly. We're going to see if anyone else is selling it. It looks like Target might have it. So we can go ahead and click through here. We can go to the Google Shopping tab. The Google Shopping tab is actually pretty useful because it's going to show you every retailer that potentially has that product. We are looking for the stack that looks like this one. So Target does have this for that $7 price point. So we can go ahead and plug that into the profit calculator and see if that's going to be a decent flip for us. Looks like a total, it looks like the same thing. We got 168 wipes. This looks to be the same thing. So let's go ahead and see this item down here on Keepa. The reason that we need Keepa here is to make sure that this is a very consistent price. So if you did not have Keepa, all you would see is the fact that it's currently selling for $16. Where maybe in the past, maybe up until like this very minute, it was selling for $10. Keepa is going to make sure you don't make bad buying decisions in that case. So we're going to go ahead and plug in $16. We're checking the Keepa down here, and we see that that is a fair price. So we're going to go ahead and type in 16. We know that we're buying it for $7. So in this case, we're only making about 75 cents. This one's clearly not worth it, but that is the whole process there. So we're going to go ahead and just keep scrolling here. I'm going to kind of skip over the ones that don't seem very interesting. Like this is kind of the same thing. This is sold by Amazon. This is another tool I would recommend getting. It's free. This one's called DS Amazon Quick View. I still use the free version of this tool, and it's going to be useful for this method of finding products because it's going to tell you when Amazon is selling it, and it will also tell you things like the sales rank, the sales rank in this case is very, very low. The closer to 1, the better, 1 being the best selling item in that category. So if this product is 371, that means it's selling a ton of units. So DS Amazon Quick View is very useful. Now this is something that I look at and I'm pretty interested in. I can also mouse over these products using Keepa, and we can see that graph down there, and we can see whether or not that price is very consistent. In this case, I look at this graph and it seems like it's kind of on a bit of a spike, but I'm still interested in checking it out over here. So we can go ahead and click through to the actual listing. It looks like this product is actually selling right now for about $21 to $20. The reason that it's telling us it's selling for $33 is because we're clicking on it from that other seller's storefront. The way you can get around that is by taking out the REF up here in the link, and now we've just got that product page. So we can go ahead and look into this. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my profit calculator, and this is going to kind of give me an idea of what I would need to actually buy this product for. It's currently selling for $21. So for me, for this to be worth it, I would have to buy this product for probably $9, maybe even $8. Probably what I'd be looking for. Yeah, $8 probably would be the cheapest, or the most I would pay for this item. And since it's a 2-pack of vitamins like this, I'm not super interested in this product. But there's going to be tons of opportunities like this. In this case, I'm seeing them on a lot of Amazon listings. I might go ahead and click on a couple more products, but this seller is probably not making a lot of money. So this would be a good example of a product where I would try a different storefront. So we can go ahead and check out this guy. But I'm sure you see the process of how we're going to find an item actually doing this method. So like I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and show you the process of doing this when you're using this tool over here that's called SellerAmp. There is a link down below for 50% off your first month, and even at full price, this tool is only $18, so it's even cheaper than Keepa. I think it's an essential to starting out, but if you're trying to really, really stay lean, you can wait for a month or two to go ahead and get SellerAmp, but it's going to save you a ton of time. So the way we're going to do this differently now is we're going to actually click on one of the sellers on the sidebar on the offers tab of SellerAmp, and now it's going to pull up an entire storefront, but we have so much more information now. So instead of looking at the storefront like this, you have to mouse it over for the Keepa graph. You don't know what it's actually selling for. You don't know what kind of prices you would need on this item. Instead, we can actually look at SellerAmp. We've got the Keepa charts over here. It's telling us who's on this listing. It's telling us the buy box price. The buy box price is just to demonstrate. So we're going to pull up this listing where it says add to cart. This is the buy box over here. And the buy box naturally rotates among sellers who are priced at within a couple percentage points of the lowest price. So in this, let's look at this item right here. If you are priced within, probably no higher than $30 in this case, and you are also tying or fast or have the fastest shipping speed, usually that's going to mean FBA listings. In this case, it looks like an FBM offer actually has this. The buy box, FBM, if you're not familiar, is fulfilled by merchant, which means they're shipping it out of their garage like we talked about earlier. FBA is what we do, which is where we ship it from Amazon's warehouse to the customer. So now that we can actually see the buy box down here, and we can see the max cost that we're looking for, this is another feature of SellerAmp that I like, is we're just able to kind of look at this. We're just able to glance at it, figure out the max cost that we can pay for this item, and then we're going to decide, maybe I can get that for $17.88, maybe I can't, but in this case, this might be something actually worth looking into. So I'm going to go ahead and press the Google button here. It's automatically going to type that name into Google, and then we're going to go ahead and click through to this Walmart listing. And unfortunately, it actually looks like this item is for sale for $23. So based on that max cost calculation over here, we can already know that that's going to be too expensive for us to actually want to buy this item. But when I'm looking at these searches on SellerAmp, I'm looking for a couple key things. So over here, I'm looking to see that Amazon is not selling this product. I can also see that on the Keepa graph over here, because it lists an Amazon price. And also if you see that orange outline on the bottom, it's on this listing too. It's a little easier to see here. This is where Keepa is showing you that Amazon is on this listing, and you should probably stay away from this listing because typically Amazon does not share sales with you as a third-party seller. They typically hog all the sales. So we have to find listings where Amazon is not on them. So when I'm looking at these things over here, I'm looking to see that Amazon is not on the listing. I'm looking to see that there is at least least 2 or 3 sellers of this item. If I see that there's only one seller of that item, sometimes that can mean that the brand or the seller that's actually selling that item might own the brand, or they might have a contract with that brand to be the only seller, and then that's where your account can get in some trouble. So you want to avoid products where Amazon's on them or there's only one seller, just to keep your account healthy. Make sure you're actually selling product, and then you're going to be just kind of looking at this max cost, kind of judging whether or not you might be able to get it for that price. In this case, this Trader Joe's product is a little bit more interesting. Depending on what we can get the cookie butter for, we may be able to buy it for about $9. So we can go ahead and click through to Google over here. We'll see if we can find it cheap enough. It looks like maybe you wouldn't be able to buy it unless you have a Trader Joe's near you. So I'm not actually sure how much Trader Joe's charges for this. This seller probably lives in a city with a Trader Joe's and goes and buys items from Trader Joe's. If you are in a city with like a regional grocery chain, like a Trader Joe's or like an HEB, like those grocery stores that are very popular, some of their products can actually go for very large markups. Like you can see these cookie butters are selling the buy box. The lowest price that these are selling for is still almost $10 a jar for these. So if you're in a city with a Trader Joe's or HEB, anything like that, that has like a cult following almost, those can be great opportunities for flips for people who don't have those stores around them. So that is sourcing using SellerAmp. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find anything super quick here. I'm gonna go ahead, let's just poke around on a couple more items real quick, see if we can find something. This seems a little bit interesting. We can go ahead and check this one out, see what it's selling for from Walmart. How many count is this? We're looking for 300 count. Is it this one? No, that one says 120 count. It could be this one over here. We'll see if this is the right listing. In this case, yeah, this looks like it's it, but it's $22. I don't remember what it was over here. Yeah, so we need it cheaper than that. We can go ahead and look into this guy. It looks like they're selling a bunch of this brand of vitamin. So maybe they're maybe not making a lot of profit here. This would probably be another example of a store where I would want to just keep on checking other stores. Unfortunately, it looks like we're having trouble finding a really good storefront to look through, but this is an amazing method as long as you can find that nice store to look through. Like I said, if you go through 5 to 10 products and you don't find anything, that seller probably isn't great at Amazon. It's probably time to check a new seller. So I'm just going to poke around. Let's see if this product is any good. It looks like this one might be a little more interesting. You're buying this for $9. Our max cost is $9, so that's a great sign. We'll go over here to Amazon. It's actually, let's make sure it's in stock for delivery. It looks like it's in store for delivery. So that looks good to me. Now we're going to go ahead and check the Keep a chart. We're going to look at the buy box to make sure that the price that it's currently selling for is legit, that it's not like on a price spike is what you'll say. So it looks like this item every now and then gets a buy box. For whatever reason, sometimes Amazon will decide that the product is overpriced, customers aren't liking the product, and then it will lose the buy box. Typically, you'll see a reduction in sales. So you can actually see that here where there was a buy box, the sales rank went way down, which means the item's selling super fast. Then as soon as it went away, the item started selling a little slower. But as of late, you can see we lost the buy box recently, and it's actually selling a little bit faster. So that's interesting to see. It's selling for $19.69. We'll make sure that they are the lowest offer. Yeah, so $19.70, around 20 bucks is what we're going to be able to sell this item for. In the past, when it had a buy box, it was actually selling for as high as like $22. That would be nice. So if it's selling for 20 bucks, we're buying it for 10. This one is a little thin, but we're getting there, right? We're getting close to finding something that's really interesting. So once you do kind of stumble across a product, let me just, just for the sake of the video, let me pretend that this item is selling for let's pretend that this item is selling for like $8. Hey there, sorry for the second interruption, but I realized that I'm just a guy on the internet. Why should you trust me if I'm not able to show you an item that's actually good? Let me go ahead and just briefly show you an item that I found the other day when I was looking for items to sell. Let me go ahead and just pull this up on the screen over here. All right, so over here on Amazon, I found this product selling for $15.50. I'm just going to show you some pointers for what a good product looks like. This price chart is super stable. I like to sell items where the price chart is very flat, meaning that there's not very much risk involved. So this one is selling for $15.50 now. Typically, it sells closer to like $15.50, $16 bucks. It looks like it went as high as $17. And then I found it over here on Target for $3.99. It is different packaging, but the description says that the colors may vary. Typically, I'm a little apprehensive when the packaging varies, but when it explicitly says it in the title, I'm okay to sell an item like this. So we go ahead and plug this into SellerAmp over here. Our sale price is $15.50. We're buying it for $4.40, including tax and shipping. SellerAmp even bakes in the shipping cost with that. So with that, we're making $3.36 per unit, 75% ROI. This is a pretty good product, selling 300 times a month. But I just want to go ahead and butt in here. I'm just a guy on the internet. You shouldn't trust me if I'm not able to show you proof that this actually works. So here's an example of an item that's actually good. But let's go ahead and get back into the video. Let's pretend that this item is selling for like $8 or $7, just so we can figure out the math. So let's say this item is $7. Wow, now we've got an awesome ROI. Generally, I look for over 35% ROI, which means if I spend $1, I want to make 35 cents in profit or more. That's what ROI means. And then profit, this is just our profit per unit. So let's say we found it for $7. It's a great product. And now you're probably wondering, how much of this do I actually buy? The first thing you're going to look at, another reason why I'd recommend SellerAmp is because it tells you exactly how many times that this item is selling every month. So now we can take this estimated number of sales. We can go down here to the offers tab, and now we're going to figure out how much competition we would actually have on this item. So I'm going to count the number of competitive sellers. So that is the sellers that the buy box is going to rotate between. We've talked about a couple of those factors, but for the number of competitive sellers, I'm going to count the FBA sellers who are within just a couple percentage points of the low price. So in this case, $19.69 with an FBA fulfillment is the lowest FBA offer. I'm going to count all of them up to this offer here as competitive. After that, it's a whole dollar more expensive, so I'm not going to count him, but I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 competitive sellers. I skipped the FBM because their delivery times are too slow to usually get the buy box. So you would be the 7th seller on this listing. Now all you're going to do is do some simple math. This item sells 661 times a month. You're going to divide that by 7 because of the number of sellers plus you. So you'd be able to sell about 90 units of this, 85, however much that math works out to. So that's an awesome sign. Typically, you're not going to want to pull the trigger and buy 85 units right away, especially if you're brand new to this. That's probably going to sound pretty intimidating. So what I prefer to do is I will buy a test buy. My test buys are usually at least 18 units. The reason for that is because when you create a shipment to send your products into Amazon, if it's less than 18 units, you can get what's called a split shipment. We'll talk about this here in just a second. But when you get a split shipment, it's asking you to send those items to 2 different warehouses. But if you ordered 18 or more, it's going to all ship to the same warehouse, which saves you on the time of putting things in different boxes, as well as shipping cost of shipping 2 different boxes. So in this case, this would be a good item where I'd go ahead and buy 18 units to go ahead and test buy this item. If you wanted to be really brazen with it, you could go ahead and get like 50, 40, 50, something like that. And then you have real data after those products have sold. You can say, this product sold way faster than I expected. I'm actually going to be able to sell 120 of these a month. So I'm going to go ahead and buy 120. I'll go ahead and buy, or maybe even like 180 if you want to be in stock for a little bit longer. But once you have that real data, it's going to be a lot more effective than just going off of these sales estimators, because they're not always 100% accurate, but they do give you a great estimate of how much demand you should be willing to expect on an item like this. So those are the 2 cheaper ways to source products. Number 1 being the very cheap method of just using Keepa to ensure that those prices are stable. Using Keepa is essential because it will save you money. And then over here, you're just going to click through the sellers, or we can do what we've been doing with SellerAmp, where you click on the sellers over here, and it's much, much faster. We also have a lot more information over here. It'll tell us how fast the item's selling. It's going to tell us average prices over time. It'll even tell us if it can, it'll warn us whether or not these brands might file IP complaints against us, which is something we a little bit talked about with those brand owners. You're going to want to avoid those products. And so having a tool like this is just going to give you a lot of resources to actually take advantage of and make sure you're making great decisions. So I would strongly recommend to get those 2 tools. If you need to stay super cheap, you can just get Keepa. But now that we've gone ahead and actually purchased those items, let's say we bought 18 units of this this product right here. We found it for $7. Now you've ordered it to your house, but what do I do from here? So that's where we're going to get into the next step of the process. There's going to be two ways that you can actually send in your products to Amazon. The first way is just going to be doing it through Amazon Seller Central. You're going to be able to do this for free. So let's say we'll grab this ASIN from the product that we found. That's just this code up here. That's essentially Amazon's specific, call it a barcode number for this product. We're going to go ahead and search for this product, and then we would just select new, and then we would sell this product. And then from here, it's going to walk us through the process of actually going ahead and sending this item into Amazon. You can type in a bunch of information here. The SKU, a lot of people will get overwhelmed by this. You can just leave it blank for now. Once you get into the weeds, you're probably going to want to figure out some, putting information in your SKUs that's useful for later. But all you're going to do is, add your item, type in your price. Let's just go ahead and send it in at $25. We can reprice it later, condition new, and then do Amazon fulfilled. And then it's going to go ahead and walk you through the process of creating a shipment. I'm not going to do the whole process here. If you want to watch a video on the shipment creation process, there's going to be a video up in that corner over there. Difficult to point like that, but there's going to be a video up there that walks you through the exact process. The way that I prefer to send in my inventory to Amazon is with a software called Inventory Lab, because it's much faster. Let me go ahead and show you that real quick. So this is Inventory Lab right here. This is a software that does your listing for you. So I've gone ahead and created what's called a batch. So we can go ahead and paste this ASIN in here. We're going to go ahead and select that product that we found. And now we can actually just go ahead and type in all the information about this product. So we've got the prices over here, so we can go ahead and just click one of these buttons. We'll go ahead and price it there. You can type in how many you have. So let's say we bought those 18 units. We bought them for $7 a piece, and we bought them today. So we can go ahead and type in all that information. Or we can also do our expiration date here. Once you create your first shipment, if you do it through Seller Central, you'll quickly realize how much faster this software is. Again, if you are super low on capital, Inventory Lab is not essential, but it will save you a bunch of time. And if you want to value your time properly, I would encourage you to go ahead and get this. I don't get paid by these people to tell you that. It's a good investment in your time to go ahead and use a listing software. But the option is there if you want to use Seller Central. But once you've entered in all that information, all you have to do is press add to batch, and then it's going to go ahead and print out your FN SKU labels. So this is something people get a little bit confused about. So we're going to go ahead and just, let's make up an expiration date here. We're going to go ahead and add to batch. It's going to freak out on me because I don't have a printer hooked up to my computer. But let's pretend that I'm selling this product right here. It's going to go ahead at this stage and print out labels for that item. And then after that, you're just going to have to press the FN SKU barcode over your barcode here. The stickers that you print out are going to go over the barcode. That goes for whether you use Inventory Lab or Amazon Seller Central. And then later on in the process, you're going to buy shipping labels through Amazon Seller Central and typically that shipping is going to be about 30 cents a pound. You're going to want to get your boxes as close as possible to 50 pounds. I generally fill my boxes to about 47, 48 pounds so that I can get the shipping savings, but don't go over, otherwise Amazon will give you a fine. So after you've done all that, Amazon's going to provide UPS labels and Amazon labels. You're going to slap those on your box and go ahead and drop them off at UPS. And then from there, you are pretty much hands off for the rest of the process. So once you've gone ahead and shipped off that inventory to Amazon, there's a couple things you're going to want to do. You're going to need to do some maintenance on those items. So specifically, that's going to be repricing those items. As prices naturally fall and rise, you're going to want to make sure that your prices go with it. You want to make sure you're getting more profit if the item's price goes up. You want to make sure that you are still getting sales if that price does eventually go down. There is a tool that I use to monitor this automatically called BQool, BQool. It's about $25 a month when you first get started. It is another one of those tools that I would recommend if you have the money. That is the last tool that I would recommend getting right at the beginning. So Keepa, SellerAmp, Inventory Lab, and BQool is going to be a great software suite. If you're really, really tight, go ahead and just get Keepa. But those four altogether are going to set you up nicely. I'm not going to make a video using a bunch of slow tools. A lot of people will make beginner-friendly videos using the worst tools, but I want to make sure sure that you're set up. I want to assume that you've got maybe a little bit of money to spend. If you don't, the options there, I've talked about those options for you, but those are the 4 that I would recommend getting. Not essential. Keepa is essential. But after that, you're going to be monitoring your pricing. You're just going to want to monitor your Amazon account to make sure that there's no complaints. Amazon's not sending you any messages about your items. And then every 2 weeks, you're going to actually be able to get paid by Amazon for the sales that you generated in that previous 2-week period. So sometimes it can take a little bit to get your money back out. So don't make any risky credit card purchases that you can't back up, especially when you're first starting out. Just play it safe, wait for you to get your money back, reinvest that money, and continue to grow your money. That's kind of the full A to Z process of it. It's not rocket science. There is a very significant learning curve though. So I would encourage you to power through that learning curve. If there's anything you're ever unsure on through the process, the answer is probably on YouTube for free. So go ahead and look up anything you're unsure on. I kind of glossed over a lot of the specifics of sending in a shipment because I didn't want to go all technical this video. I have videos on that. There's other people who have probably made better videos than me that can walk you through that process. But in essence, all you got to do, find a product, receive it, send it into Amazon, and then sell that product and use the money to do it all over again. And eventually the goal of this business is going to be to find those products, find profitable products faster than they are, losing profitability. Just naturally over the item's lifespan, the price will just kind of fall. It's not always the case, but you do want to plan for some of your items just not lasting forever. So make sure you're always adding new items to your product catalog, and your business will be able to grow very well in the long term. But I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this video. If you did, please feel free to add some value to my business and hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate that. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop those down below in the comments. I'm always happy to answer those, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.